Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and today we are making Italian wedding soup. Okay, so it is Souptember, and this is my second soup. I'm trying to make them every Wednesday for you guys. And I promised I'd put a picture on Instagram of my Italian wedding soup. And I said I was gonna make it this month, and today's the day. So I just wanna tell you that Souptember is a collab that we have with a lot of other great YouTube channels, lots of home cooks sharing their just amazing home recipes for delicious soups that you can enjoy all fall and winter. And I have a list down in the description box below of all the great channels who are participating. Different soup every single day. I have a playlist, so you wanna make sure you catch that. I'll have the playlist, and like I said, all the channels linked below. Subscribe, and if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I have a list of every week's soups, so you can make sure you tune into them all. Don't forget to comment on this video and all of the videos in the collab, because I am going to do a drawing of one of the commenters, and they are going to get a prize at the end of the month. So more on that if you follow my Facebook page. Anyway, Italian wedding soup, we are going to make it. Let me show you the ingredients. Okay, so here are the ingredients that you will need for your Italian wedding soup. Back here, you're gonna need some olive oil. This is my homemade broth, and you're gonna need a few cups of that. Italian seasoning, breadcrumbs, pepper, salt, Parmesan cheese, spinach, celery, onion, carrots, some ground meat. I'm gonna use ground turkey today, but ground beef is great. Ground lamb is actually really good. Whatever ground meat you use, even ground chicken is perfect. And some minced garlic. One more very important ingredient is the pasta. I always pronounce this wrong, so forgive me, Acini de Pepe. But this is the proper pasta for your Italian wedding soup. If you can't find this, just any kind of small pasta like a ditalini, or I've even used small shells, but any small pasta would work just fine. So all of these ingredients we'll need, and by the way, you will have the entire recipe in the description box. I'll put all the measurements there just so you don't miss anything, but here's what we need. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the vegetables for my mirepoix, get that ready, and then we will get started making the meatball. Okay, so this is a mirepoix. It is chopped up carrots, celery, and onion, and that's the base of most soups. Some people call it Holy Trinity, but technically the Holy Trinity is celery, peppers, and onions. They use that in like Louisiana cooking. But anyway, so this is gonna be the base of our soup. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but I just shred my carrots with my peeler. And that's just the easiest way for me. And one thing I do want to mention is with these veggies, you want to chop them up kind of small. The reason why I shredded my carrots with a peeler is it actually breaks apart really easily when you cook it. And the pasta in this case is so small that having the veggies too chunky can kind of take away from the pasta. So you do want to have it a little bit small. All right, so now that the veggies are chopped, and by the way, if I did not have already minced garlic, you would have wanted to mince your garlic up as well. So now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and make our meatballs, and then we're gonna get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is put our ground meat in there. So of course I have my ground turkey. We're gonna toss that in. And be honest with you and tell you that I really wanted to use my Butcher Box ground beef today, but I forgot to thaw it. But if you guys are interested in Butcher Box, I'll put a link down in the description box. They're actually having their ground beef for life sale. I'm gonna talk about that in another video, but free ground beef for life is a good deal, so it's worthwhile mentioning it. So all right, we've got 2 pounds of meat in here. Listen, for the recipe, you need 1 pound, but trust me when I say this, double your meatball recipe. Double it, triple it, quadruple it. You will want these meatballs. We're gonna take 1 batch for the soup and 1 batch to save for another recipe. All right, and I'm gonna tell you this too. We're getting ready to put our seasonings in. I do this by, you know, letting the Holy Spirit speak to my heart and tell me exactly what seasonings I need until he says to me, child, that's enough seasoning, and then I stop. So, but I will have, like I said in the description box, the actual measurements that you want. But you almost can't go wrong with this. You really can't. So first thing we're putting in is our breadcrumbs. By the way, this is a really awesome, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I just want to point it out to you because I didn't even know it was available. They have these non-GMO wheat breadcrumbs. It was only $1.98 at Ingles, so that was pretty reasonable. I have, when I do not have breadcrumbs, let me just eyeball this. That looks good. When I don't have breadcrumbs, I actually have, one of my favorite things to do is take pretzels and mash them up and use pretzels for breadcrumbs. I think they work so well, and they already have salt, so if you use pretzels, you're gonna need less salt. Being that we don't have pretzels, we're gonna use salt, and this is actually kind of low. I'm gonna use another salt real fast. We'll just use our regular salt here just to make sure we have plenty of it. All right, and while we're at it, we're gonna throw some pepper in. I gotta remember there's a double batch because in this little bowl it doesn't look like there's very much, but we want to have a good amount. We want some flavor. Italian seasoning. Y'all, this is from my pantry. You definitely need, it's an Italian dish. You want some Italian seasoning there. Looks beautiful. This, by the way, speaking of other things, this is a Parmesan cheese that I got off the shelf. One of my favorite things that I love for my Azure Standard order was their Parmesan cheese, but I ran out. So I had to go get this, and this is actually hormone free. So again, not sponsored, but I just didn't know these things were available. So I'm excited to find products like that out on the shelf. So we're gonna put some parm in, and let me tell you something, again, you just wait on the Holy Spirit, you know? But you almost can't add too much Parmesan, and you almost, I had to shake that out a little bit. You almost can't add too much garlic because, I mean, this is an amazing dish with the garlic, but it's not a garlic ball, it's a meatball, so you know, you watch it a little bit. So I'm gonna throw some garlic in. Oh yeah, I love garlic. To taste, people, to taste. And that's it. I mean, you throw it all in there, and basically at this point, I'm gonna mix it by hand and create the actual meatballs. And once we have those created, we'll be at the stove. I do wanna say one thing too, when you're making these meatballs, you wanna make sure you're making very small meatballs. You don't want big meaty ones. Like I said, you have small pasta, small veggies, you want little tiny meatballs. They're still gonna be the star of the show, but you want smaller meatballs than you would make for like a spaghetti dish or something. Meatballs, let me show you. Here they are, and I have 2 piles, one for today, one to cook and save for later. Let me just say a word about cooking ahead. There is some prep work involved in this particular recipe in that you chop the vegetables and prepare the meatballs. So if you are one of those folks who do cooking, like, you know, maybe you cook on Sunday and then you have food for the rest of the week, you can do that with this. You can definitely do that. You can even put these meatballs in the oven and cook them in there, and then put them in your freezer and have them already ready to cook and make in the soup. And then you can cook your cut your vegetables in advance and have those ready. So like do it the night before maybe if you want to, if you have time. But I totally recommend doing it immediately with the soup, like not doing it ahead if you can. Still good that way, still good cooking ahead. But if you do it when you make the soup, there's a lot more flavor, and it's a lot better for the soup because you get all of that great toastiness from cooking the meatballs in the pan. So I'm gonna put some oil in the pan, get the meatballs in there, get them cooking, and we're almost done with the soup, believe it or not. So our meatballs are all cooked. And now we are going to take our cut mirepoix, and I'm gonna put it right in the pan. By the way, you can see all this crispy goodness. That is why you cook it all at once, because you want all of that flavor in your soup. So I'm gonna throw that in there. And we're gonna let that cook down for a little while. And here in a moment, we'll add a little more garlic once this is cooked down. And by the way, this is when this onion and celery and everything softens, it's gonna add a little water. And it's gonna pick up all of that tasty goodness off the bottom. I didn't even add any extra oil because there was still a little oil left in the pan, but if there's not, you could maybe throw a little extra oil, or maybe even a little water to let it soften. You can see it's already starting to soften up a little bit. So I'm gonna stir this, let this cook down, maybe throw a little, well, definitely throw a little garlic in there, and then once all the vegetables are done, we'll start putting the rest of it in here. All right, so this is cooked, it's brown. It's not because it's burnt, it's because it's absorbed all of the beautiful goodness at the bottom, but I've had it on a low heat and I've been watching it, and it's nice and softened. I'm gonna add just a little bit of garlic, maybe a lot of bit of garlic. Stir that in. Ideally, you'd let that cook for a minute or two, but I'm really in a hurry to eat this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour my broth in. And I'm gonna put the meatballs back in there. There we go. I think I need a little more liquid, so I'm gonna put some water in. It's good. And now I'm going to bring that to a boil, and then we will add our pasta. Okay, so now I have a rolling boil, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little salt in here because I hadn't added any. And I'm going to add our pasta. Again, I'll let the Holy Spirit tell me how much. But like I said, the instructions are down in the description box. So we're basically just gonna wait till that pasta cooks through. In fact, I might just put the whole box in there, why not? Why not? We'll just add it all. And we'll let, like I said, we'll let this cook through. It'll take just a few minutes because it is a very small pasta. About 10 to 12 minutes. And as soon as that is done, we will add our finishing touches and our soup will be done. Okay, so our pasta is cooked. You can see it in there. Looks like little pearls. And so we are gonna do our final step here, and we're gonna add some spinach. We're gonna toss that in there and let it cook till it's wilted. And then our soup will be ready. Okay, so here is our beautiful finished Italian wedding soup. You can see all the pasta is buried down in there. We have all the beautiful vegetables and a super brown, beautiful, tasty broth. You're gonna love this one. All right, so that is it, my beautiful Italian wedding soup. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to go check out all of the other channels that are in the collab, again, in the description box. And don't forget to leave a comment so you can be entered into our great giveaway. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I hope you guys give this soup a try. I know your family's gonna love it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Y'all, this one smells so good. You know what else? You can throw some extra Parmesan cheese on top. I'm trying to break these meatballs up while I talk to you because it's so good. Let's try it. You're not gonna beat the flavor in this one. The Holy Spirit has spoken. Those meatballs, y'all. Mmm. I just have no words.